bunch of welds. Tell you what, that certainly looks a lot better. I've been using this Gravely walk-behind tractor a lot lately, and as you can see, the tires and the deck and stuff are pretty dirty, so thought I'd take you guys along and you guys can watch me pressure wash this. I think this thing's from the 60s, if I remember correctly, but I have the battery disconnected and everything should be closed off the best that I can. I'm going to try to stay away from the ignition system on this thing and the fuel system and stuff, but I'm going to just pressure wash this thing, and this is probably the last time I'm going to use this thing for the entire winter, so let's start pressure washing.
One of the main reasons why I'm pressure washing this is to just keep it clean, but also to keep the floors clean in the barn. When the tires and stuff dry off, they drop mud everywhere.
You can see just how dirty this deck is. We have an oil leak at this point here, and yeah, I think it's just this one. But there doesn't seem to be much oil that stays in the gearbox. We need some new seals, and maybe while I'm at it, I'd do the bottom one. But this one up here, there's probably one, I'm assuming, that a lot of the oil will leak out, and that's the remnants of it there. So that's all got to go. Some of you guys might remember from a long time ago, well, I guess it's not that long, I did a bunch of welding on this deck, and all my welds and stuff all seem to be holding just fine, have not really had any problems whatsoever with them. And this is the patch that I did. Of course it doesn't look pretty, but I've pretty much saved this deck. The guy had the other one that we have of this deck is, he had it on there for like 25 bucks, so obviously these decks are not worth that much, but I'm glad I could save one of them. And by me just priming it, this is just Rust-Oleum Rusty Metal Primer on there. That is all that is on there. And then at some point, the rest of this thing will get painted, but this was just to stop the rusting so we could use it. So now let's do these tires. This is the really dirty part. This is the main reason why I wanted to pressure wash it.
In case anyone is wondering, I'm using my little electric Harbor Freight pressure washer, and I've got to say I really like using this thing. It's easy to use and there's no gas involved.
Tell you what, that certainly looks a lot better. This side you guys can see a lot easier since it's not in the shadow.
At some point I still have to put new tires on this. I have to buy the Ags and the ones that are the proper height. These are like wheelbarrow tires, I guess, that I have on here now. And this thing is so heavy, I think they're pretty much maxed out.
And in case anyone is wondering what the underside of this looks like, flip this thing up for you guys and you can see how well the Harbor Freight truck bed lining is holding up. I guess I'll do under there also.
This Gravely walk-behind tractor is not something that we use a ton, like, you know, a regular mower and stuff that you mow, 2 hours every week with, but we do use this thing somewhat, and the time that we do put on it is pretty rough mowing. I was mowing through branches and stuff that were saplings that were probably a quarter thick.
So I know I didn't get much of this on camera, but you guys can still see a little bit. So for the most part, the deck looks pretty good under here. There's a couple spots that are peeling,
And this spot here, there was no rust on that. That was a fresh piece of steel. And of course this truck bed lining stuff isn't going to stick to that. And then there's this part and up and around. So I mean, I guess it's holding up pretty good. Is that rust under there? Is that? Nope, that would be rust. So maybe at some point I will probably paint this deck again. I have some old black Rust-Oleum paint, and we'll use that to try to keep paint under this deck. If you can keep paint on these decks for just about anything, brush hog, whatever the case may be, it makes them last a lot longer. So the test of a well-built machine is, will it start after you've pressure washed it? So we got that battery cable on. And in case anyone's wondering, this is a 30-inch turtle deck is what they call these. It's 30 inches wide. Give her some throttle, turn the fuel on, pull the choke out, and hit the button, and hopefully this thing will start.